So hey guys, Stephanie here to do my review for Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff. So Fates and Furies didn't come out that long ago, but I feel like it's one of those books that just like everyone has been talking about. So of course I had to get in on the fun and see what all the fuss was about. So instead of tackling my ever-growing TBR pile, I instead, on a whim, decided to do the Audible free trial just so I could listen to Lauren Groff's Fates and Furies. And here's what I thought about it. Basically, plot wise, what you need to know is that it's about a marriage um, between Lancelot, he goes by Lotto, Satterwhite, and Matilde Satterwhite. So, Fates and Furies has a lot of allusions to Greek mythology, to Greek tragedies, a lot of Shakespeare. So, if you're well versed in that, you might glean a little bit more out of the text than I did because I am not someone who is super well versed in that. But if you're like me and like what you know about Greek mythology came from like a series of lessons in the sixth grade and Disney's Hercules, then I mean, you're not gonna not enjoy the novel, you'll be fine. I mean, like the first half of the book, that is Lotto's point of view, is called Fates. And if we check in with our Disney Hercules knowledge, we remember that Fates are the three little old ladies at the beginning that are like sharing an eyeball and like cutting the strings of people's lives. So fates kind of symbolize destiny, like they're in charge of determining someone's like birth and death and what happens within their life. So destiny is a really big theme in Lotto's point of view and perspective to keep in mind while you're reading it. Can you guess what the second half of the book is called from Matilda's point of view? It's Furies. Don't worry. It's Furies. Furies are basically goddesses of vengeance that live in the underworld. So that is also a theme to keep in mind while you're reading that. So that's basically what you need to know plot-wise, just going in, is that it's about these two characters and their marriage and their different points of view and their different stories. There was a lot I liked about this book. Surprisingly, what I liked about it, if you read on Goodreads, was probably the one thing that everyone was complaining about, and that was the writing style. People were saying that it was a little flowery and over the top as far as prose goes. But if you really think about it, the characters, in my opinion, are kind of like pretentious, artsy people that I feel the prose really fits in telling their story. And it was something that I enjoyed. I mean, I was listening to it, so it might have been different than reading it, but I definitely enjoyed Lauren Groff's writing. And one of the other things I liked about this book is that I feel like it's layered and it has a lot of things to think about. It's one of those books where you finish reading it and you're still thinking about it days after you finished it. But as much as I liked it, it wasn't a perfect book. And I feel like the majority of my complaints come the characters, mainly Lotto. So meet Lancelot Satterwhite, basically a narcissistic dimwit with an emotional intelligence of zero. There are so many things about Matilde that just don't add up, and Lotto never thinks to question absolutely anything. Seriously. And then I'm supposed to believe that Lotto, who for the first chunk of the book is being painted as this man whore who sleeps around constantly with everyone, all of a sudden meets Matilde, proposes to her the first time he meets her, and just like that becomes a monogamous, faithful husband for the rest of his life. And then there's Matilde, who you know just from the beginning that she has got to have some skeletons in her closet. You know, on a whim gets married to Lotto, and lucky for her, he's the least inquisitive guy in the world and never thinks to ask her anything about her past. Matilde was a much more interesting character, and I definitely enjoyed her half of the book a lot better. The plot twists and the big reveals did seem a little like soap opera-y, but since it is supposed to be in the style of a Greek tragedy, that is something I'm willing to let slide. I enjoyed reading the book. I liked the unlikable characters. I feel like the only one I had an issue with was Lotto, and that's not so much because he was unlikable, but more that I just didn't buy into him. But because I loved the prose and because I think she did a good job of putting forward her themes of perspective and the role that secrets play in marriage and relationships, I ended up scoring this pretty high on Goodreads. I gave it a 4 despite how much I hate Lotto. So I feel like that says a lot because I really hated Lotto, but I really loved the way it was written and I think it deserves all the praise that it's getting. Rapid fire unanswered questions time. Probably some spoilers. Lotto really believe that Mathilde made all that money modeling, like enough money to pay like tuition and room and board just because she posed in some catalogs. Like Lotto's mom, Antoinette, ends up discovering all of Mathilde's secrets because she hires a PI and has all this proof, and she sends it to Lotto. The package keeps on getting intercepted, but later we find out that they've been chatting on webcam for weeks, and Mathilde isn't there. Are you saying that that's something that his mom is never going to bring up? Like, hey, did you get that package with incriminating information? Did Mathilde ever actually get a name change? Because if not, then all of her paperwork at college, her diploma, and her marriage certificate, all the paperwork would have been under her old name from when she lived in France. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.